Thank you for joining me in today's photo reading session. Of course, if you don't have your photo reading by Paul Archioli yet, you can get it down in the link in the description through me. It would benefit yourself as well as me, and thank you so much. All right, so we are a part of, in today's video, an activation session to finish with our syntopic reading. But before we get into this, obviously the hair has gotten long there. It's been some time since the last activation video. This is because life happens. I'm a caregiver, 24/7 primary caregiver for my grandmother, and recently, of this last Thursday, that a whole 180 has become in my life. So just little stresses, all life happens like this. Just know that this is the first syntopic reading. So gotten so much knowledge out of this, got a mind map, been playing with some of the greatest minds in the greatest games. Hopefully I'll get to that more later, but know that even though you have life happening, you're going to gain something from this, and as we go, the time of 2.5 months will shorten, and hopefully my goal, and you can probably you'll hold me accountable or you'll hold yourself accountable, that we can get this down to about a week to get through like 7 or 8 books on a topic. Another quick note, yeah, pretty aware. That sniffing stuff is annoying, isn't it? So I'm going to be ultra aware of it because I wasn't. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yeah, couldn't listen to that last video either, but we all have our little quips, and sometimes you aren't aware of certain times you do stuff. So here we go. Let's go about it. So hopefully you got yourself comfortable. Let's go over some basics of what we may need. You got your mind map. You've been working really hard on this, all right? You're starting to articulate the material because you're doing it yourself. You're going through your own mind map. Yours, of course, looks much different than this. This is quite wild. But people think this is what my mind looks like. Sure, but I can see this clearly, all right? I understand exactly what's going on this, and you should too. Know what's going on with yours. Got a couple pins, different colors, maybe you one of the sparkles or glitter, or maybe like gold stars or green stars. If you need a prop, got something like this, and I'll make a video sometime soon of where I got that. So prop, if you don't have that prop, maybe you have something else. I like to use this little guy here. It just holds, it grips, it's like a sandpaper almost. So, and it's a perfect heavyweight. Anything that you find, be creative, because you have a great mind. Your brain is fantastic. It can handle photo reading right from the get-go. We all have it in us, so we're just pulling out what's already something we already possess. So get to know that and get to know yourself in this process. So this activation video will be based on learn to play chess like a boss. This is by Patrick Wolfe, 2-time U.S. world champion, or U.S. chess champion, sorry, U.S. world, blah, 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 a 2-time chess champion. It just says fun, make pawns of your opponents with tips and tricks from a grandmaster of the game. Now this is pretty cool. When we went photo reading, this has a lot of pictures in it, a lot of examples in the back, a lot of answers, and a great glossary. He wanted to go in some depth, so we'll see what we can find out of this. Now for me personally, I found a lot already. I've got the basics pretty much down. At this point in my chess playing from the syntopic reading, I can see the end game here and there every once in a while, which is a big step up from not being able to see it at all. I can see about 2-3 moves ahead with pins, forks, and sacrifices, which is awesome, which is considered combinations and recognizing how mating works. The coolest stuff is openings and mid games, but I'm starting to see the Ruy Lopez opening and the Nimzo, the Indian defense opening, as well as starting to kind of recognize the Queen's Gambit a little bit here and there, but still not actually able to play it on purpose. So, but the fact of the matter is that all that stuff is now there. I can notate in 2 different ways if I want, as well as setting up tactics. Now, things I want to work on is increasing the ideas of tactics from this. We always want to set a purpose for the book that we're working with. What's really beautiful is that moment that your brain processes what some of the greatest chess players have played, and you realize how they did it and why they did it. And most of these books will show you those interpretations of each individual, and even the ideas of which way the player may have gone in this or this sense because of the interviews they have had after each game. So know that chess is really just a game against yourself. You know, sometimes what's cool about the chessboard is you can see it as light and dark, good and bad. And this is just yourself, you know. You may sometimes be mad at yourself, so you talk bad about yourself. So for example, let me make an example here. Say you play by yourself on your own, or we'll make two examples. Say you play by yourself on your own, you go forward, then you don't want to lose a piece. You want to fight yourself from losing the first piece. Which side do you want to lose the first piece? So I'm not saying that the light side is always white and the black side is always dark. Whoever's playing on black is, in their terms, the white and the light. And so it's kind of like a duality kind of game. So you'll come to terms if you play yourself that you'll struggle to take that first piece from yourself, because there's kind of this like battle, this emotional response. This the amygdala starts to secrete its fluids to make your brain aware that it's getting emotional. Then you fight that. You see the lick of the lips allows you to see the parasympathetic nervous system, allowing to basically balance out the amygdala's response, calming yourself down. So that's the self kind of game. If you ever play yourself, it's really a beautiful way to learn, and it's challenging. Some of the greatest games are by yourself. Now you can play with an opponent, so you're against somebody else, and the opponent kind of gives you that anxiety, that stress, like they might know more than you. But here's the thing: you're tricking yourself. That's why it's the self game. You're just kind of setting yourself up. It's a tactic that you can use in this sport, is get into the mind of the other player and kind of move them around the way you want, and get the combination set up so you can take their king, win the game. Once the person says that, oh man, they're trying to trick me, boom, that's the other player's opportunity to get in and take the game, really. It can be considered trapping, I believe, is the term. So with this layer of knowledge that you will gain too, you'll start to see that when you play someone else, you're just playing against yourself most of the time. So stay positive. You can do this. You can play chess. You can photo read. You can learn how to play the piano if you want. I don't play well. I can play one song, sort of. You can learn how to play an ukulele. You can learn how to drive mini cars. You can learn how to box. You can learn how to sword fight. You can learn how to do anything that you set your mind to. The list can go on and on and on and on and on and on. And all of it is available. All of it is absolutely there for you to go out and try. Now I'm going to mention, if you heard that sound, that's going to happen 3 more times. I'm not going to leave this session. We're just going to deal with it. Maybe it's a good thing when it happens again. It's going to reset your mind. And if you didn't hear that, forget the last sentence I just said. I just realized I apologize for sniffing, so I might as well apologize for my dryer going off. Alright, well, let's get started. Obviously, you photo-read this book. You have your supplies. Make sure you are doing this for yourself as well, not just watching. It's more important to practice than it is to observe, okay? Because when you practice, you do observe. Observing doesn't allow you the hands-on quality of feeling your brain change. Because before, 2.5 months ago, I knew nothing about chess. But now I know king side, queen side articulation, and I've said this in multiple of other videos. I know now international notation, A through H, 1 through 8. These are files, these are ranks. It's backwards, you got 8 through 1. And H through A. So there's a lot to learn. It's all really simple. The thing about it is we get into our heads that it's hard, and fear can limit us, but know that fear is just one path to love, and that love is the other path. And if you're kind to yourself, more and more and more, love will be that path that you take. Well, that's a different video for yoga if you want. You can check out the other playlists. So, learn to play chess like a boss. Let's get started. Let's get prepared. Allow yourself to prepare. Feet flat on the ground. You're in a comfortable position, comfortable seat, right? Everything's about comfortable position so that you can see 45 degrees into the book. Okay? Let the kickstand out. Hands on your knees. Stack your spine. Relax your jaw. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath out. Now, as you breathe in, like the back of your head, like your forehead is a movie screen, see the number 3 clearly. Breathe in. As you breathe out, relax the best you can. Now, as you breathe in, imagine the number 2. As you breathe out, relax. As you breathe in, 1. As you breathe out, imagine you're holding an orange in the palm of your hand. Place this orange in the back top part of your skull. Notice what it does to the muscles of your eyes. And then hover that orange 3 inches above your skull. Notice what it does to your forehead muscle, sinus muscle. Eyebrows soften. Now be sure to set a purpose for why you're doing this today. It should be your own. You should get into the relaxed state of alert learning. Now I want to learn more about playing chess. I've learned from many grandmasters thus far. I want to continue this because the more I unravel, the more deeply I understand how beautiful this game truly is. Now, I do want to know more about in-games and mid-games and combinations, okay? And some openings, okay? So that's simple. Of course, yours will be different. Be as concise as you want to be. Constantly prepared. Open your eyes. So it's up to you how deeply you want to get into it. Now, I'm just making a simple thing. You can always go back into activation as many times as you want. This is reading. Just a different way to process the information because you're not trying to create fillers. You know, the INGs, let's begin here stuff. All that stuff is filler sometimes. So can be the does with and the sniffs. All right, well, let's get started. We've prepared. Now, if you just need to, real quick, you can prepare. Just quickly preview. Maybe you already know where to find those questions. This book has tons of detail. We've already done the preview stuff, but I'm in the activation already. We're going to use super reading, photo reading. With super reading, we're going to use dipping. Dipping, skittering, and rhythmic perusal. And you can learn those things with your photo reading course. Best way to do it, okay? Cool. At the end, there's it gives offer of computers play chess. How computers play chess. So that's a nice way because I play computers mostly with Ultra Chess. So what I find is most of the time it has the algorithm versus like playing against yourself. It's a different way of placing. So hopefully there's something in there that I can grow from. So let's get started. And of course you can go at your own pace, get started at your own way. I'll share what I'm thinking as I go, but skip over the stuff that's pretty unimportant. So, quick right off the bat, how to use this book. Let's play chess. Got that understood. Tactics, that's something I want to know. Strategy, and then beyond the basics. So part 2, 3, and 4 is something I want to focus on. That's where I know I'll get that information diagrams. Exercises in the back. I'd recommend doing exercises if you really, really want to be a good chess player. I personally haven't gotten to the full discipline of exercising those layers, but I guarantee someday I will. Because chess is absolutely phenomenal, and I'm only 2.5 months into it. So if I have a lifetime of learning this, how far will I take it? I bet you can find out for yourself. Let's get going. Oh, right off the bat would be a good thing. Why play chess? Intellectual pursuit and enjoyment. And why does it look like I'm just jumping around, blah, blah, blah? That's just simple techniques. I don't need to read everything, You don't need to read everything. You spend your whole lifetime reading everything if you did it that way. But you can get through books fast. There's too many books out there to ever think you need to read a certain way. But read your own way. Have fun with it, okay? Are we having fun yet? Abso-freaking-lutely. Chess is easy to play anywhere. Chess is the fairest game I know. No matter how big or small you are, no matter how old you are, you can learn to play chess well as anyone. The rules of chess are easy to learn. Once you learn the rules, there's always more strategy to learn to improve your play. These are the words of the Patrick Wolfe. And I just shared all that information with you. So how easy is it for you now, right? And how many times have I sniffed? Once? Okay, good. If you're not laughing, that's fine. I'm not that funny. But we'll see. Shatranj, I didn't know about him. So here you can get into a little more history. I think I'll come back later to dive into more history. But if you're a history buff, this is the book. This book has names that I've never seen before. The Berserker Rook from the Isle of Lewis pieces believed to be from the 12th century. So if you want to get into the depth, this is a nice book. I like this. Some others have this, but it's just not this perspective. It's nice to take on multiple chess champions' perspective. Why not all of them, huh? Someday. Okay, those are about people. Okay, more depth of history. Chess being played in movies. Giving you a rundown. Knights of the Bronx, Dark Horse, Queen of Katwa. So, keep going at your own pace. We're just moving through. Okay, I already know this and how things work. Ooh, I just caught an eye. So intuition, follow your intuition, get an eye. This video is only going to be another like 25-30 minutes, maybe. Bow. Ooh. Okay, so the bishop is actually known as like standard jester, like the fool. That's funny. Catholic Church is fighting with me too. That's interesting. So there we go, third time. Jumping through the rook, the queen, the king, we got that. Drifting apart, how to capture pieces, how to move pieces. We all get that if we've been a part of the last 7 activations of this in-topic reading. And if you have, you definitely know that better than I do. Take a deep breath. Wow, how about that? Great exercise. Just like the prepare here we did. Maybe you're trying to trick yourself, and here's some exercise in case you do that tricking of yourself. Rules of engagement. Ooh, pawn capturing on impassant. Do you know what an impassant is? This is an amazing, it's French for in position. And when a pawn puts itself in a certain position, a certain action occurs, and the other pawn can take, in a diagonal sense, past behind the opponent's pawn that jumped 2 ahead. So say a pawn is on, we'll say a pawn is on d3 or d2, and it jumps up to d4. Well, we'll play it out. Why not? If d2 jumps to d4 and does that double jump in the beginning, not just a single but a double, Oh wait, sorry, that's E. E2 to E4. Sorry, let me correct myself right away. E2 to E4 jump. This, if this pawn was here at F4, F4 can go to F3 en passant. It's the only time it's possible. It's amazing what pawns really can do in this game. And don't underestimate it, because there is a place where you can learn promoting pawns. Actually, that's right there. Also, this same page, 41. Yeah, also, you can utilize pawns to, in promoting, to do a double sacrifice. It's one of the greatest games of all time. I think it's in the 20s, maybe even just before the 20s and the teens. But they did not expect him to sacrifice 2 promotions in a row, and it just made them think, oh my gosh, were we too connected to the materials, like the queens and the rooks and all these numbers and 9s and 5s and 3s and 1s? Do we get too caught up in the values? Maybe sometimes, because you analyze all you want. Eventually, you're going to have to find some sort of balance with analyzation and surrender, because surrender may take you to an observation that you can further analyze later. Anyways, that was a tangent, unnecessary, but let's continue going. If it was necessary for you, thank you. So castling, something you should already know. Checkmate, not just getting back into my intention, you should already know the first 50 pages of this if you've done all that. Chapter 4, how to win with just one piece may be a quality way to go. Okay, just the queen. So now they're just talking about the utilization of the materials, trying to stalemate if you only have just the king, utilizing the king around the board to run. If you get to this, there's an ethics to this, or not an ethics, but a etiquette. And if you see yourself getting to that point where you're going to start chasing around and try to get a draw or a stalemate, just resign, man. Just resign. Just resign. Just put your hand out and resign and see if you can play another game, because why put yourself and the other person through a runaround when you can just try to be better the next time? You saw your flaws. Don't just keep running. The amygdala. Don't just keep flying. Just take it as a loss and move on. If you ever play yourself, you're gonna have to lose. So get over it, and you'll really enjoy chess, because it's not about the loss, it's about the learn. So tactics, here we go. Stay in the state. If you ever have to go back to the technique to put yourself in the prepare and the photo focus state, use that the tangerine technique, or the any way you want to use it, the orange, however you want to use it, dunce cap, wizard's cap, alchemist cap. It's a material world. Well, chapter 4 was short. Part 2. Tactics. Part 2. So this is where we wanted to get into more deeper knowledge. Now, I do have a little extra paper in case of that. Maybe I'll find some room to increase this. I've never played with time clocks, but wouldn't that be fun to understand why we do time clocks? I'm sure it's just to increase your capacity to concentrate and process information under pressure. That's pretty much all. Just like, how can we elevate this game? Because it is easy. It's a really easy game. And if you don't think so, well, now you know, because it's a really easy game. Don't kid yourself, because if you are, well, then you have it wrong. It's an easy game. So the time clocks can make it really hard, because it elevates concentration, pressure, all that stuff. Increased amygdala response we talked about, increased ability to try to calm yourself and breathe. Take a breath. This game's easy, okay? Getting into the full depths, it's not. But we'll get there. If you're activating these books, if you're activating more than me, absolutely you're going to have more information than I will. You'll absolutely be able to play chess within 2.5 months better than I can. And someday, if I ever get confident enough to play somebody out there, I will play. But I'm not going to put that out now. So here we go. Let's keep going. Let's move on and keep on growing. So some tactics are based on material. Sometimes fewer pieces equals more material, okay? It's not just about pieces. And then it's relative value of pieces. 1 pawn, knight 3, bishop 3, rook 5, plus 18 bit more. Queen 9. So bishops are always a little bit more than a knight. And what about the king? Well, the king's the game. Let's not ask silly questions. How do you use this scale? Pretty simple. Ooh, here we go. This is how we might want to know. Okay, so it's basically wrapped around promotion. Combinations. Yeah. Oh, just a deep breath. Calm down. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Okay, so diagram, definitely some things to play again. The idea of how to get to Carnegie Hall, why Carnegie Hall? I don't know, I'm going to put that in the center. I'm sure I could go find that information out right now, but it seems like something I might want to do on my own. I don't have to share everything with y'all. We don't have to put every word in a sentence. We can shorten it how we want to. Do I really need all this practice? Yes. Yes. And yes. Of course, you read that and saw the words that I read. Here's an opportunity to learn how to defend your pieces. 5 things. See, this is simple. It just the tiniest points get you to the furthest parts of chess, and photo reading is going to activate these things fast. But you got to remember, activation comes because of incubation. The incubation comes because of photo reading processing. That processing comes from the previewing, and the previewing comes from the preparing, and the preparing comes because you made a choice to untap a layer of yourself that you're equipped with always. Maybe you just didn't notice. So exercises, practice, practice, practice. All these exercises I know in this book are in the back of the book too. Makes it real easy to see them all at once, so you don't have to jump around pages. Chapter 6, Tricks of the Tactical Trade. The fork. Okay, pawn fork. See, something new. Let's see. This is something I wanted to know. Maybe this is something you wanted to know. Forks. I'm going to put it up here in the more advanced and master stuff because I don't know if that's where it should be. Maybe it should just be in the advanced area. But pawn forks. That's really nice to know that pawns can fork too. I actually thought it was just mainly a knight thing. So let's phrase it to simplify what fork means. You're going down a street. You're coming to a dead end, and there's a fork in the road. You have 2 paths to take. Take right, take left. So if you move a pawn into position where you have let's go here. You have the bishop, the pawn, and the knight in this row. And you can have this pawn at e4, and this isn't a real scenario, it's just played out. You put that there where you can either take the bishop on a d6 or the bishop on f6, then you have a fork. You have two pieces you have opportunity to take, creating a fork for the opponent. They will have to either take your pawn or lose a piece next turn. Knight fork is the same thing, just, you know, allowing the knight to be in a place where, okay, oh, I see. So knight fork is where there's a little more complicated. Obviously, you should go into depth on this. Sorry about that. Yeah, you're gonna be able to take, if they take a pawn, you're gonna be able to take one of their knights with your pawn if you position it in the in another. Oh, this is still pawn fork. So let's move forward. My bad. Are you perfect? Soon. As long as we keep photo reading together, maybe we can both tap into a destination similar to that, but there's nothing. It's just a destination. Perfect. So we're on a journey here, okay? We're gonna get things wrong. We're gonna get things right too. Who's to say what is what? That wasn't wrong for me. That just made me learn more about the pawn forks. Didn't you get that? I got that, so let's grow together. I'm with you. You can do this. What's cool is you can see where it goes. So a fork, I caught that. Where the fork is just like I described earlier. Two pieces that can go where the fork of the way the knight goes can either take one or the other piece. Now in this case, a knight fork is probably more powerful than a pawn fork, because a knight fork will allow you to take one of their pieces guaranteed. You know, in one scenario, the one pawn fork doesn't allow you to take a piece, but in the second scenario, the pawn fork allows you to have that backup pawn to take one of their larger ranked pieces. This you won't lose in this diagram. You won't lose the knight, so you'll take a large piece. But in this scenario, if you take the largest, the queen, you'll lose the knight. So you just got to decide the value. It's really relative to your mathematical skills at any given moment while you're playing the game. And you can keep count by what pieces are on the board. And the probability of how you're going to promote next the pieces that you can get across, or the pawns that you can get across the board. So there's more diagrams on that. I really like that because I now know what a fork is. I'll be able to see it in game, which is a very powerful tool by the end of the activation of this video. And you can do a bishop fork and a rook fork, so and a queen fork, so I can clearly see that. I wonder how many pieces you can fork. Because, you know, we said possibly 2, and there's recognition as 2, but could you fork 3, fork 4? Probably, and it's fun to say you're forking 3 pieces, right? I fork 3. I fork 4. The pin, the bishop pin, so it looks like every piece has these abilities, maybe. Sure. I'm going to let you just get into the pins more. We're going to keep going through. These are things you want to use in the mid-game, these kind of things. I noticed a sniff, so don't worry about it. I'm going to make aware of it, so get you more about that. It all goes away. It'll go away. Queen's pin, so you can use the skewer. The skewer is the fun one. If you can get a skewer, you may be in a position similar to the Ruy Lopez. And I tell you what, it's fun to play like that. So get to know your skewer. 2 attacks at once, discovered check, you can run people around, you got double check and exercises. So we all already know that, dirtier tricks. Okay, now we're getting to some stuff. About halfway through, so we're almost done. I've been attacking the defender. This might be a good place to learn how to approach bam, 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 like kind of like a onslaught attack. And of course, you're going to get what you need out of this, not what I need out of this. We're 2 different people. We're taking on everything from 2 different lights. So get exactly what you need out of this book, not what you see me getting out of this book. If you're getting something out of this, awesome. I appreciate that. I'm just here to share that this skill is available, and every human being possesses this ability to process information faster. Maybe it's not perfect at first, and like you said, it's never going to be. But improvement? Absolutely possible, and you're improving right now if you're working on this book yourself. And you can do it with me talking, doesn't matter. You can multitask, you can hear and watch and listen. You'll get better, even with that stuff. Multitask can have, there's discussions of what that means, and sometimes there's two sides to it. Hunting down the keen, that's a lot of fun. Oh, comparative to the Emperor Has No Clothes. This guy really likes his metaphors. I could be wrong about that. That could be an analogy. I'm pretty sure it's a metaphor. Yeah. Those two get flopped in my head. Maybe I'll read a book about that sometime. Ooh, Anand. If you ever get a chance, play Anand versus Kasparov in 1995. This game is absolutely beautiful. I think it's like 25 or 26. I can't recall totally all the game numbers, but it's in the 20s, and I believe it ends as a draw. Let me double check, but it's just, it gives you happiness, this game. It just truly does. So it's highly recommended. Play out some of these games. Variations. Ah, yes, here we go. Variations. Something I wanted to learn was about variations. I haven't written much down, so that's a good sign that I'm starting to get everything wired in my own brain. And if there's something new, obviously, keep applying it to your mind map. Keep applying it wherever you need to write it down. Still going to have to work on getting better at understanding all variations, combinations, and recognizing them in-game to get to checks, but some of these are just two moves to checkmate or 3 moves to checkmate, and that's a good place where that etiquette comes in the line. Resign, it's okay. There's going to be another game, like there's going to be another thought coming in, there's going to be another moment that emotions bubble up, there's going to be another moment that's something happens that you don't have control of, there's going to be another moment like that, so be kind to yourself, through this beard growing and all this in topic reading. This is the best beard I've ever worn, and I'm almost ashamed that this is the last day I'm going to have it, but I'm going to be happy to remove it because it was a way to show that sometimes it takes this long. Sometimes it takes this long to activate some topic reading, but don't worry, you can do it. Just keep practicing. I've been practicing with photo reading for 7 years, so yes, you can do this a lifetime, but don't give up on yourself, on even your hobbies, the things you love, because your body and brain matter. Your body and brain want to know that they're an ocean, not an empty bucket waiting to be filled. You're an ocean. Okay, so up there's an ocean. We're just trying to become aware of that. A lot of that is surrender, so if you don't quite get that yet, there is no judgment in that, because I don't fully get surrender, but I do get it to a point where I understand that I'm an ocean, not a bucket. So I just hope to get you there, that you understand you're an ocean of information, not just limited to a bucket of information. So if you want to learn anything, there's a library out there. Go get a book. Cool. All right, let's continue on. Sorry about that. The tangents are fun. Oh, exercises. The infinite variety of checkmates. I guess the tangential moment of that was probably wrapped around an infinite possibilities, right? So who knows if that's why that thought popped in my head or not, but who cares if it was on the next page. Chapter 9, in the beginning, middle, and end of chess game. The opening or an opening. Okay, discovering should you defend on the opening or should you make an opening. That's nice. How you think about chess can gain the idea that this is easy. This isn't hard. Chess is hard, like everything, until you practice enough to understand that it's actually easy, like everything. Don't sell yourself short. I'm here to you can do it. You can do it. You're a genius already. Paul Arshili in his book, if you read it, it's going to say something like that. I recommend reading that book multiple times. Okay, back to it. So, most beginning, middle, and end are around 8 to 12 moves, so that's nice. Let's see, the opening is 8 to 12 moves. Second, okay, mid-game can go for a lot longer, usually 20, 30 moves, because most games go 40, 30 to 60 moves total. Good questions. When does the beginning end? Just when you achieve your goals. Center is where the action is. Good principles. Principles are important. Center pawns first. That is a good strategy. Then you can work on your skewers and such things like setting up forks and pens. Always move minor pieces before major, setting up that opening like that. Make sure you get the, the knight or the bishop out and the pawns out way before you decide to get your rook out or your a queen out. Time is of the essence. So setting up a good defense, setting up a good center game means that, and faster, means that you can then take on the attack sooner and play the other guy against himself. If they do that to you, you might have to play a little bit of defense before you then can change the game. But understand, you're going to get to know defense too. Castle early. The recommend is under 10. Let's see what he says. Yeah, I guess he doesn't really, just castle early for him. But before, under 10 moves, or within 10 moves, that seems to be good. 5 to 10 is a great place. Maybe I shouldn't give recommendations, but that's what I would recommend. Okay, Queen's Gambit declined. Oh, okay. So that earlier question, how the Queen Gambit opens, I can't quite see it yet. How can I see it? Maybe I didn't concisely say it, but I think I found it. And that's really nice to be able to look at each of the diagrams and watch it play out. And I may be able to use that in a game now because I've done this variation several times, so maybe I've been playing with Queen's Gambit for a while. But this is the decline, so just be aware this is defense. Sicilian defense, whenever it's Queen Gambit's decline, you're setting up your defense. When you're Queen's Gambit, you're setting up your attack. Sicilian defense. Okay, I've played the Sicilian defense a couple times, didn't even realize it, but now I see it. Fianchettoing the bishop. I've never heard of fianchettoing. Maybe I'm not saying that correctly. Fianchettoing the bishop. Fianchettoing is Italian for little flank. Okay. So that's just coming up into either G7 or B7 or A2 or G2. I may have this incorrect, but that's where I'm gathering it's coming from. Or the defense, opening up the two bishops in line so you can basically keep down the right side, the H side of the, in this diagram, the H side of black side. Yeah, so you may see what I see. That's pretty cool. Let's keep going. We're almost finished here because I know most of the big part of the back of the book is exercises. Making the most of your pieces. Mobility, give me room. Believe me, I'm getting through these little bits. Not every word, I don't need it. But that's up to you and how you're photo reading, how you're super reading, dipping, skittering, and rhythmic perusing. Attack your opponent's weaknesses. See, because you're going to open up your own and they're going to take on you. The knight. The bishop, just observational work when you're ready to go through these things. Rook, the queen. So this is something I would come back to because I want to learn more individualistic stuff. I will try. Pawns are the soul of chess. This is nice. Because they set up defenses, set up lines, and then promotions. They can bring back life. Some pawns are islands. Split pawns. So this is cool. The in-depth on pawns is something I'd like to get into. I think I'll get back into that sometime soon. That's right, I don't need that. Let's use the purple. Why not? Get that involved. I'm just going to say more in depth about pieces, pawns, kings, queens. Mostly pawns, and then that last part, that's really good to go back into. I want to get back into that, so it's in my mind. I'm going to keep it. Exercises for that. Again, all these exercises are going to be in the back of this book. This book, cool. Space, the final frontier. The advantage of space, grabbing space. Okay, so you can control both the center and also the open spaces around you. So a lot to look at. Look at empty spaces as well as taken spaces. But don't forget the center, of course. Exchange piece. So you're starting to get the hang of this. There's a pattern. There's a pattern to everything, to photo reading, to chess. So hopefully your chess skills are getting better. Recognizing weak squares. Oh, now here's something that I was hoping to get deeper into, and I do got that. This is stuff is seeing it deeper. I don't know if I'll just jump. I think I'll jump into this later too, but so we can wrap up this video so you can keep activating on your own pace. It's just nice to know that there are specific squares on the board. The whole, the weak color complex. Ooh. So now we're talking about the psychology of it, you know, what we were talking about in the beginning. You can see that your feelings really have this impact on how you value, you count, you notate, you play, all these different ways it impacts you. And each time you play, you get rid of one small piece of this weakness and you get a little stronger. And that's what I'm saying. This is easy. You can get the hang of photo reading just like getting the hang of chess. Repairing a weak square. So maybe that's, obviously, let's go find out. Maybe it's keeping up or bringing other pieces to help defend up that one piece that might be weak by itself. Or maybe two pieces weak by itself. Yeah, okay. So this one's bringing the rooks to center to try to establish a stronger square with the rook. Maybe you understand, interpret everything your own way. That's absolutely perfectly fine. That's right. All good things must come to an end. Don't forget what you learned now. I like how this guy sets up the big black bolt. This is a great book to learn photo reading. It's got little snippets you can super read with. It's got these big bold things you can preview with. Use the king. It's a strong piece. Use pawns in the endgame to stop other pawns from passing. So I'm learning exactly what I asked for. I hope you're learning exactly what you asked for, because this is what you should get out of this book. This is what you should get out of photo reading. Playing like a boss and beyond. You can design your own training program, studying the opening, studying games. So this is what we've been talking about this whole time, studying games of top grandmasters. So see, even through the evolution of activation, I've been sharing stuff with you that this book just shared with us right now. If you go back in this video, you'll notice me talking about it. So each little bit. Oh, here. Viswanathan Anand, the world champion of 2007-2013. Vishy Anand, world champion. That's a fantastic game. Kasparov, great player. Botvinnik, great player. Fischer, great player. Karpov, great player. Smyslov, great player. I haven't played Tal or Petrosian or Spassky yet, but I can't wait because I can't wait. I'm gonna get through all the 100 best games. They're amazing. It's like watching a movie. When you get into it, it's like a mystery, movie mystery. Study your own games. There you go. Play on your own. Work with a coach or a teacher. Go get out and everywhere. Online chess resources. This book is awesome. Get competitive. Find a club. Tournament rules. So that kind of stuff I'll get into later. I don't need tournaments or clubs right now for myself. This is my club right here. Chess resources. And there will be a lot more some topic readings coming soon. We'll get down to the week. There will be more activations of just single books, photo readings of just single books. So thank you for partaking in this. How computers play chess. Talking about the IBM supercomputer and PCs, Deep Blue. So it's a program and they make sure it's there. Something like an ideal problem for it to solve. It doesn't have the thinking to. So that, yeah, it's still not actual thinking. So what thinking really is, it definitely takes you deeper. You can see that in the evolution of all like video games and virtual reality. They can't quite replicate real life, but they're trying, very, very much so. So, you know, it's like the computer. It can't quite replicate the human thought, but they're trying, and but that recognizes how elevated the human being player is compared to the computer, because the computer still doesn't have that grace of the move just popping out of nowhere. We don't go through lines and lines of code to find the right algorithm. We have this almost intuition, feeling of the right move. And if you do continue your photo reading, you're going to gain intuition and that deeper level of feeling and the subtle energies in the world. You can check out the 8 intelligences. That's actually on my website if you want to check it out there. Or it's inside the photo reading book. And you can get the photo reading whole course through me in the link below. Helps you, helps me, win-win. Otherwise, hey, have fun. Do it your own way. The rise of computers and chess. Oh, that's what those lines were. Input layer, layer, output layer. Oh, that's intense. So, but our brains have more layers than this neural network. Come on. Okay. I think so. Let's just. If I ever beat a grandmaster computer, I can assume that's true. But till then, I can think that's true. Here's your glossary. Very short, 2 and 3.5 pages. Here's your answers to exercises. Always good to know the answers, because then you can better understand the question or the problem itself. So get in the back of this book, go over the answers when you go over the exercises, and yeah, have fun with this. And yeah, we're done with this book. Yep. Set it aside. Now, after every activation, it's very important that you sit down and end with a sense of mastery, okay? You are a master photo reader. You are intelligent beyond my capability. You have a genius inside of you that you just need to tap, because you got to be more positive and kind to yourself and loving. Take that fork. Take that path, kindness, rather than that idea that you can't, because you can do this. You are a master photo reader. You can do this. You can take on any topic you want. You can take on any information you want. It's you that has to allow it. That's the level of surrender we're talking about. So sit with a sense of mastery. Give yourself appreciation. Gratitude for what you've done. and the time you took for yourself in this syntopic reading. Awesome. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Aloha. So this ends the first syntopic reading course for photo reading. I'm James. You can probably check out a playlist of mine if you want some yoga or other photo reading stuff will come. Just be aware of that. I really appreciate it. I really thank you a lot. Angele. Merci. I really appreciate it. Thank you. If you want to pick up your photo reading whole course, you can get it right in the link below. So until then, keep up your reading. I'll see you next video. And aloha, my friends.